Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto, and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the fourth round of the 1952 season, the French Grand Prix. It was held on the 6th of July, it had 21 entries, of those 20 took part in the race, and there were 8 retirements. The race consisted of 77 laps, completed in 3 hours, 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Ascari took pole from Farina, who was second on the grid. Taruffi started from third. Jean Bera was fourth, and on the fifth spot on the grid was Robert Manzon. Ascari drove a brilliant race to take home the win. Farina came home second, 1 lap behind Ascari. Taruffi finished third, 2 laps down. Manzon was fourth, 3 laps behind, and Trintignant rounded off the top 5 and was 5 laps behind the leader. Ascari also posted the fastest lap of the race, a 2 minute 17.3 second lap time. So here we are at Rouen-les-Essarts in France at a brand new circuit. Well, it's the first time we get to see it. It has, however, been used prior to this race. The lap starts off with a quick sprint into turn 1, a fast right-hander, followed by turn 2, an equally fast left-hander. Turn 3 is another fast right-hander, and the key through these corners is to properly feather the throttle. Turn 4 is another fast left-hander, and you'll want to start braking before you reach the apex, as immediately after the corner comes turn 5, a very sharp hairpin. You also need to keep in mind that you are going downhill, so you need to brake much earlier than you'd think. Then climbing up through turn 7, a relatively quick right-hander that takes us into turn 8, a fast left-hander. Turn 9 is next, a tight left-hander, followed by a quick sprint into turn 10, another tight corner, but this time it's a right-hander. Next is a very long straight which ends in turn 11, the last corner of the track, which is a tight right-hand hairpin, leading on to the start-finish straight, and that is a lap of Rouen-les-Essarts. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And here we are in qualifying, coming around the final corner of the lap and onto the straight to post our first qualifying lap, which is actually the only one, a 154.6, and it's the only one because I was somehow unable to beat this time. I don't know why, and it's not a very good time, as you'll see once we get to the grid. And here we are for the grid walk. Quite unusual lineup here, but we have Ascari on pole, Farina second, Piero Taruffi is third, Mike Hawthorne is fourth, Robert Manzon fifth, Maurice Trintignant sixth, Rudy Fischer seventh, Villoresi eighth. Then we have André Simon on ninth, Jean Bera 10th, Jose Froilan Gonzalez 11th, Dennis Poor 12th, our guy Andy Higgs is 13th, followed by Ken Wharton in 14th, Alan Brown 15th, Bonetto 16th, 17th is De Graafenried, 18th Eric Thompson, Paul Fuller is 19th, and Peter Collins is 20th. Yeah, quite a weird grid lineup considering we are still in the 50s. And just so you know, the first lap will mostly consist of a replay because the game started lagging as soon as the race started. So here we are for the start of the race. Quite a slow start because, well, as I said, the game started lagging and it's quite difficult to control the car when you have one frame every 2 seconds or so. Yeah, it was actually that bad, and this is what caused it. The crashes. Every time the AI crashed or touched another AI, the frame rate would go through the floor, down to hell, I don't know. It was quite frustrating, especially the first lap, but oh well, you get what you get. It's only a mod, so optimization is not really a priority. And here we see Jean Bera in the Simca Gordini crashing into the wall and losing his front wheels. Alan Brown is next in his Cooper, crashing into Ken Wharton, and retiring from the race. And now we have Ken Wharton, who violently crashes into the fence, is flung into the air, That was quite a scary thing. Obviously, he would have been flung out of the car were it this in real life. As I said a couple of times prior to this, there were no seat belts back in these days, so that would have been very, very, very bad for Ken Wharton if it was in real life. And he ends up crashing into that dangerous turn sign there. Next, we have Villoresi in the Ferrari coming around, loses control of the car, crashes into the fence, and is out of the race. Next, we have Dennis Poor in the Connaught, crashing into another sign and losing his front right wheel, and out of the race he goes. And finally is André Simon, who loses control of the car. Another Ferrari, one of the Ferraris comes around, crashes into him, he loses his front right, and he's out of the race. So yeah, that's what, about 7 retirements I think on the first start, on before the race has even really started. But luckily, yeah, as I said, there were quite a few times when the frame rate dropped below playable. Luckily, the replays went smoothly. So anyway, starting lap 2 as we come around this left-hander, and Robert Manzon is out of the race on only the second lap of the race. But first we have Paul Frere, who crashes into that sign, loses both of his wheels, and obviously he's out of the race. Next is Alberto Ascari, who crashes into the other sign on the other side of the track, and he's also out of the race. Followed by Robert Manzon, who loses control through that same corner, crashes into the fence, and he is also out of the race. And we are now chasing after Maurice Trintignant, who is about 5 seconds up the road, and we're catching up to him really quickly now. On lap 4, coming through this hairpin, chasing after Gonzalez, and here we have Maurice Trintignant in his Simca Gordini, comes into this left-hander, loses control of the car, crashes into the fence, breaks off, I think, both his front wheels, and he's out of the French Grand Prix. So, a lot of casualties, and I guess after 2.5 seasons, we kind of come to expect stuff like this. Lap 11, I was chasing after Piero Taruffi, who lost control of the car. I tried to avoid crashing into him, lost control of the car, tried to save it. However, I ended up overcorrecting, which made the situation even worse. I lost control of the car, spun around, and which allowed Piero Taruffi to regain control of the car and get back in front of me. Lap 13, still chasing after Taruffi, who once again loses control of the car, and I slide back up into 6th. However, he didn't retire yet, at least, as we come into the hairpin for the 13th time in this race. Now lap 15, coming out of this tight right-hander, and very good speed there, better than Gonzalez in the Maserati, and we take 5th. So we are now in the points. However, a few seconds later, as we were approaching the hairpin at the end of the lap, he managed to outbrake me. However, he immediately cuts across me, and I ended up touching him and spinning him around. However, he did not actually retire. Lap 16, chasing after Felice Bonetto, who is right in front of us. I tried to outbrake him, and seriously, he crashed into the wall. I'm pretty sure I gave him enough space. Anyway, here's the replay. He comes in very slowly into the hairpin. That's me right behind him. We come around. Hopefully we can see it. There was more than enough space there. Come on, he could have kept closer to me, and whatever. And here we have Eric Thompson in his Connaught, who pulls to the side of the track and retires. Not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe fuel, maybe suspension, I don't know. I guess we'll find out at the end of the race. But anyway, we are now on lap 16 in 3rd place, and there we see Eric Thompson actually retiring. He's now spawned back at the pits. That's why he appears there. So we are lap 21. We are in second, chasing after Mike Hawthorne, who is some 21 seconds ahead of us. I don't think we can catch him before the end of the race, but oh well. And here is Peter Collins coming into the hairpin very, very slowly. Not sure why he's going that slowly through there. And I'm guessing that he stopped because the camera stopped moving. Either way, still chasing after Mike Hawthorne. We've closed in on him a bit, a couple of seconds. And then on lap 22 we are closing in on Mike Hawthorne, and Mike Hawthorne has retired from the French Grand Prix. Come on. Seriously? So we move up into first, and here we see Mike Hawthorne. Well, we can't really see him. Oh, there he is. He came into the pits and kind of retired, I guess. Oh, come on. The first half of this race was such a nice race. I was actually struggling to catch up to the guys in front of me, and all of a sudden everything went downhill. I guess the game decided I had more than enough fun and decided to just give me the win without any more fight. And we're now looking at Rudy Fischer in his Ferrari, pulling to the side and retiring from the race, as well as Piero Taruffi not long before after that. So those are the two final retirements on lap 24 as we come around the final corner to start lap 26, the final lap of the race. Not much we can do right now, just except to drive the car home. And here we are coming into the final hairpin for one last time. The Grafenried is 1.5 minutes behind us. We are going to take the win, obviously. It's a bit disappointing, to be honest, because until about lap 16 everything was going pretty well, and I was actually having to fight really hard and push it really hard in order to catch up to the AI in front of me. However, after that everything kind of, I don't know, went south, I guess, and here we have the retirements. However, the final two retirements were within the 90% race distance, so I decided to give them points, as you'll see once we look at the tables. If you think that shouldn't have happened, let me know. However, you should award them, because if I remember correctly, 1996, the Monaco Grand Prix, Mika Hakkinen retired towards the end of the race, and because he was within the 90% race distance, he actually was awarded points despite the fact that he, well, retired from the race. And that is why I decided to give points to the final two retirements. Anywho, here are the career statistics. Andy Hicks has participated in 19 Grand Prix. His best finish is still 5th, no pole positions yet. Has set 4 fastest laps. His best finish is 1st, 8 wins, out of which one was at the Indianapolis 500. Has won 1 championship. Has a total of 84 points. Has retired 7 times. Has experienced 405 out of 543 laps. Has 3 bronze trophies, no silver trophies, 8 gold trophies, and as an extension, 8 podiums. So here are the championship standings. Andy Hicks takes the lead of the championship with De Grafenried in second, just 2 points behind. Eric Thompson is in third with 14 points, so 2 points behind De Grafenried. Farina takes 4th, Berra is 5th, and we have quite a few point scorers, although starting with Trintignant all the way down to Taruffi, they all have 3 points. Peter Collins and Gonzalez share 4 points. So yeah, we take the lead of the race. Again, the championship, but I'm really not happy. The first half of the race was very good. It was what I wanted to, really. That's what a race should have been. how a race should play out, but the game decided that it had enough and I don't know, kind of gave up. Anyway, our next race is the British Grand Prix, which is a big race for Andy, so hopefully we'll have an exciting race there. But that is it from me and this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.